Rocky Romero did an interview with Sean Ross Sapp over on the Fightful YouTube channel and podcast for Fightful Select. And he was asked his 2 cents about the whole regime change over in WWE and what his thoughts are about it, and if he is now open as being the sort of liaison for New Japan Pro Wrestling over here in the United States and all the Forbidden Door shit, that if he's open to working with WWE or if he foresees a future where they could be working with the WWE. And of course, he said that he doesn't really see it as of now. They're happy with their relationship with AEW over here. But, even with like little things maybe here and there, like when Shushin Thunder Liger wrestled in NXT, but he basically flat out said I wouldn't expect to see any New Japan guys working in WWE anytime soon. But then Sean Ross Sapp asked him if he has spoken with anybody at AEW or at WWE at all recently, and he was a little bit apprehensive about speaking up about it before admitting that he has had a conversation with Nick Khan, of all people. And of course, this perked up Sean Ross's Sapp's ears, and he had to kind of poke and prod and try to dig into that a little bit deeper and see what other kind of information he can dig out of Rocky Romero. Check out this clip.
Have you ever been a part of any conversations between like New Japan and WWE for any reason?
Not anything heavy.
Lie. Give me a headline.
I spoke to Nick on once.
Did you really?
I had a very short conversation with him, but it didn't go anywhere, and it's not newsworthy. I feel like,
but you can feel like it's very newsworthy. I feel like it's absolutely newsworthy, and you just froze. I might be you froze up on me a little bit again, but I'm interested in what context was this conversation.
It was very much just a feeling out. I think WWE has always, I feel like, has always been interested in New Japan content somewhere, like whether it was like Network before or Peacock now or whatever it is. But I feel like that's always been a conversation because they collect content from everybody, right? So I feel like maybe that's one thing that they always kind of wanted was to have maybe some kind of Japanese wrestling, sure. And why not have like the best one on one of those? So I feel like I think that was what pretty much the conversation was.
Yeah, WWE is just a bunch of content whores. That's all they care about. They're not really interested either in Forbidden Door stuff. They don't really care about working with other companies. Certainly with Triple H in charge, he's smarter to the business. He has more of an ear to what fans want, and he's more aware of all the wrestling around the world, whereas Vince McMahon didn't even know what the fuck didn't even know what year it was, I'm sure. Vince McMahon was laser focused on WWE only, and he only was aware of people outside of the E if a videotape was put in front of him. Triple H, that's not the case. And we already saw with Shushin Thunder Liger coming in to work for NXT that Triple H is not opposed to bringing people in, at least for the NXT brand. I don't know about the main roster, but, Royal Rumbles and shit like that. We have seen that in the past, right? We had Tenryu and Katao, as Bobby Heenan would say, Katao. We've seen this kind of stuff before, at least for Royal Rumbles and that kind of thing. AAA, was it AAA that was working with WWE back in the day when they did that Rumble in Texas? They had a few wrestlers from Mexico in there. So it's not like something that's never been done, but it is very rare. More likely with Triple H, but I don't expect to see much of it anytime soon. What they care about is content. That whole conversation with Nick Khan, I guarantee you, it was basically said by Rocky Romero, but it's about, hey, can we bring over some content to put on our network? They're looking at, this was probably around the time where they were trying to buy up all the indie, or at least get other indie promotions to put their content. There's ICW from over in England. And what else did they have? I think they have Evolve. Is it Evolve? They have some other shit on the network that they were able to kind of make deals with. But, if WWE had their way, they'd be able to scoop up all the content. I'm shocked that they didn't make a play, or at least a bigger play, for Ring of Honor to get that content library, because they have so many people on their roster from Ring of Honor. But, if the day ever comes where they're able to make a purchase of AEW and Ring of Honor together, they're going to love that shit. But I think that day is a lot further away than we would give it credit for being. So, much to do about nothing in that conversation, but it is interesting that Rocky has had a conversation with Nick Khan, that it is Nick Khan out there trying to make those deals for the network and talk to these other promotions and bring in that other content. And it's probably Nick Khan that was working with AEW when a few of their guys were on the WWE network or on the Peacock network to do the documentary thing, to talk about whatever the fuck that was. I don't remember who they were talking about, but they had Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho, amongst others, that were over there on their network doing some talking head shit on the documentaries. So we might see more of that. Tony Khan's been pretty open about that. We saw Chris Jericho on the Stone Cold thing too, Broken Skull Sessions. I think we'll see more of that in the future. Possible Hall of Fame stuff. They like to get people for the Hall of Fame for whatever reason. They made that play with TNA before. They traded Christian away for Ric Flair at one point. So I think, that door's open, and Tony Khan's always been willing to work with them. And, I think New Japan, if WWE did want to bring in a guy for a Rumble or for an NXT spot or something like that, I think they'd be open to it. But I don't expect to see a lot of that kind of stuff in the future. But it is interesting to hear that Nick Khan is out there having those conversations with some of these other major wrestling companies. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe. And don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.